the ring, Youngstown's very own Ray Boom Boom Mancini.
I like that I like that more and more now. Wasn't too crazy about it first. I do like it more and more.
How do you like it in the morning? Is it
And
good in the morning
A
too?
little different in the morning than in the afternoon, that's for sure. Welcome everyone to another round of the Boom Boom Room. I'm your host Ray Mancini here with my ace corner man, cut man, Mike Case. We got a very special guest today. Going to talk about what's going on. Anybody who's been visiting Youngstown from the Youngstown area, or if you visit Youngstown, a lot going on downtown. You know, the town's on a climb again. Right. A lot going on, and part of it is a big part of it is the Covelli Centre, which has been how many? Well, we're going to get how many years it's been in, and our friend, our special guest Eric Ryan, who's the. You got to give us your title. I want to screw up your title, but anyhow. But before we do that, is there anything with the sports? I mean, look, we'll talk about a few sports. It's not a sports show per se.
Right.
We got to talk about little sports.
Yeah.
I want to know if a lot of people talk, and I'm going to see your thoughts on it, Mike, because you're a Cleveland guy.
I am.
That, but now LeBron, now he's out in L.A.
Right.
And he's shutting it down for the year. He's shutting it down. And they got about how many more games? They got about...
It was 10 to go. There were 10 to go, I think, and they shut him down, and he let him.
And you think that, when they showed that one thing, what was a couple games ago when he sat at one end of the bench, and finally the players, I guess, confronted him in a team meeting, saying, look, man, this doesn't look good, what you're doing. And I don't know what was said other than that, but, I don't know. I find myself, look, is he the best basketball player on earth? Probably at this point. That's slowly changing. I mean, I think Durant's probably overtaking him, and a lot of guys are coming right underneath that. But still, is like boxing, it's boxing, yeah. Is basketball.
Right.
Talking basketball, not boxing. Basketball IQ is probably the highest, if not one of the highest in the game. Here's what people don't get. He shut it down. And they said, well, I shut it down. Well, they're out of the race. Why would he? Well, that's what a baller does when you're making $30 million a year. You finish out the season, I would think. But they said, what will he be doing? He's not traveling with the U.S. or the world team this year because he's be shooting Space Jam 2.
Oh.
Doesn't that make sense why we should shut it down? Because our producers in our studio said, that's not good, LeBron. If you're out there taking a chance, man, we've got to be shooting this summer. So a lot of things behind the scenes. Why you shut, if you're not in the race, why would you keep playing? Well, because that's what a baller does. You finish out the season. Look, I'm not knocking LeBron James. He's great for the game. He's the best player in the game, all that. I'm not saying it's his choice. I'm sure being the athlete he is, he'd want to finish. I would think that. I don't see any quit in him at all, ever. But as people, I'm telling you, the producers of this movie, God, I'm telling you, they got a lot of power. And they will, I'm sure, tell him, why chance it? You're out of the race. You got no dog in the game. Shut it down.
I feel like now I'm a LeBron guy. Went to the same high school.
Yeah.
Thrilled to death that somebody brought a championship to this town when in my lifetime. So I'm always going to be a LeBron guy. But I feel like the Lakers have been trying to shut him down and then finally got their way. I think he would have played it out, but I don't think they don't want him.
I don't know if it's the Lakers or I'm telling you, Mike. Believe me when I tell you, the juice, the power of the entertainment.
You think it's
business,
the entertainment business?
Absolutely. There's no dispute in my mind. There's
There's nobody that's played more minutes than that guy in the last 15 years.
No, I agree.
Yeah, but I don't understand why some people are shocked about this. I mean, after they won the championship, I'm a diehard Cleveland guy, and after they won the championship, I said I'll never speak bad about him again.
Right.
Before that, he definitely wasn't my favorite player on the team because I always kind of saw him showing up. His teammates, I saw him a lot of times. I mean, he's the greatest player. Don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, if you watch game in, game out, like the majority of us probably did for a long stretch of the last couple seasons, I think he's very difficult to play with. I think he calls people out for not getting back on defense when he does it all the time. I think when he gets bumped in the mouth, he sits there and does this 150,000 times. He absolutely drives me nuts, and I don't know what anybody finds shocking that he shut it down. What's interesting is that the man has played through July, or until July for the last Well,
12 years.
Decade.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
12 years,
And so
right?
he would have been shutting it down early anyways.
Right.
But for him to shut it down, I think it is. I think it's all business.
Yeah.
And I think he's totally. First of all, he's not the best player in the world anymore. I think you're crazy if you think he is. I mean, watch Durant, watch Harden. He has been for a long time, but there is no doubt about it. He's starting to slow down, but everybody does.
Well, you said Harding. Harding is the best offensive player in the game.
True.
D is not in his alphabet.
Yeah, but but Harding is much better offensive player than LeBron.
Oh, there's no dispute about
There's
that.
no dispute.
No, yeah.
And I don't. I mean, I see.
Can I dispute it? Is
Yeah,
that okay?
well, you could dispute it.
Your
All right,
mind is
No,
good to
no, he
I'm
can
not a
shoot.
big James Harden guy.
No.
Not a big
Because
James
he does
Harden
one
guy.
thing. He does
Durant,
one thing.
I'll
He
give
plays
you.
offense.
Okay.
He plays Durant and Kawhi. Kawhi's doing a two-way,
Yeah.
and he's bringing Toronto back to the
Well, he's
top.
the best defensive player
Yeah.
in basketball.
But I know what you're saying, Eric. What you're saying is very valid. What you're
And
saying.
I mean, LeBron's has been
Yeah.
by far the best player on the planet for the last decade.
Yes.
I'm not taking
No,
that away.
I agree.
But
And
I think
he
if
makes
you
some
if you
crappy
watch,
guys good.
yes,
Doesn't he?
I mean, did an incredible job, and so thankful that he was in Cleveland for all the time that he was. I am a little bitter, as you probably can tell.
I
Like,
know,
he's
you can't
still
tell.
not there.
Yeah, I know.
But I think it's. I mean, But this is LeBron. I mean, this is.
No, I get it. Look, but what I admired. Look, what I said. Nobody went from the outhouse to the White House like LeBron, and how he did it.
And handled it
and
like he
and
did.
handled it. He did exactly. He did it by winning, and he said kept his mouth shut. When he went to Miami, he just kept winning, kept bringing him to the title. They didn't win every year, but he brought him to the title every year, and all he did is keep winning, and he never spoke bad. And I said, that's when I admired. That's when I became a LeBron fan. Now, when he went to LA, I said that was no secret that he was going there because I said he's in the entertainment business. I was hoping he'd stay, but his son's starting high school, and his son's going to one of the best schools there, Crossroads, which is in Santa Monica, and the school is known, it's for the basketball prowess they bring. And he was playing with Shaq's son, but Shaq's son got hurt, But anyhow, so it was no dispute.
Which is another amazing LeBron thing. He talks about how on one hand he doesn't, he feels bad he named his kid after him and put all that pressure on him. And then every time you turn around, he's talking about staying in the NBA until his kid, who's in 8th grade, gets in the NBA.
Right.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, LeBron. You want on one hand talk about you're putting too much pressure on the kid, and then the next time interview you're talking about how this kid's going to go to the NBA. And which, by the way, I mean, I've seen him play probably. Because my son's
plays?
AAU.
Yeah.
I've seen him play. He's really good.
Yeah.
However, it's
lot of good guys.
but it's pretty amazing. And I mean he has the pedigree, and I'm sure he's going to. The kid's in 8th grade, but I think that's a lot of pressure to put on him.
No,
and I think he continuously does it.
No.
I would agree with that. I have no problem with that. I wish he would have just stayed here.
I'm just bitter. I'm just
No,
bitter.
I know.
Well, I could see that. I could see that. But I didn't have no problem that he left this time because he went for his family and people.
But he
said,
went to a crappy team. He knew everybody knew it was going to be a crappy team.
Right,
He
right.
could have stayed with us, and we'd be
Yes.
winning the East
Because I like
again.
this kid Sexton. I like this kid.
do?
He's a jet up and down the floor. He still had K-Love.
No, he's good.
Who's a double on
The
that.
team would have been good. The team would have won the East.
Yeah.
But
Maybe
he left.
Toronto.
We're going to get Zion. I'm a firm
Oh,
believer.
wouldn't that be nice?
We're getting Zion.
Okay.
And then we're going to just, we got the new LeBron.
They got a one. What's the chances to get
1 out of 3.
1 out of 3?
Well, it depends. It depends on the ping pong balls.
14%
and stuff.
Yeah, but then, or if not, we'll get Barrett, who's maybe a
Maybe
better NBA player
Maybe,
than Zion.
Yeah.
maybe.
So I think we're going to be okay.
No.
But there's no. I mean, he left purely for.
Entertainment reasons.
Right. And he don't like Dan Gilbert, but-
Plus, you're in the sun 300 plus days of the
Yeah,
year
that
with
made
no
him a bad
humidity,
guy.
no clouds, no rain. I've been there. I know that.
I know.
So why wouldn't he?
That's why we're bitter.
People said
Here we are.
No,
Yeah,
people,
absolutely.
People said he went for the entertainment business. I said no. He's in the entertainment business. He don't have to be there. He has a home there during the summer. He's already in the entertainment business. He doesn't got to be there. I said he went there because his son. I get that. He wants his son to go into a better school. Basketball in L.A. is different than most. You understand that. So I've been talking about high school and AAU ball, which my kids both played. So that's why I understand that. So that's why.
I think he got fooled. I think he went to L.A. thinking he was going to get a bunch of things, and they promised him some stuff that they didn't give him. I mean, they sold him, but they gave him a bunch of junk
And what's
to play
sad,
with,
though,
and they still haven't come up with the players that they want to play with.
Right,
them.
but the saddest part of all is LeBron isn't theirs. He's not LA's.
No.
He could have went anywhere else and been their golden child. He is not. If you think he is, you're out of your mind. He's not Kobe. Everybody wants to talk about Kobe with him. He's not Magic.
No.
He's not Kareem. He's not. He's not going to be. He's not a native. I mean, I don't know. I just think it was.
When think he'll ever play for the championship again? Not win a championship. Do you think he'll ever play for the championship again?
No.
Not with the Lakers, I don't think.
Not in the West.
No.
Not in the West, bro.
No.
I mean,
they're
And he ain't coming back
they're the
east,
10th
so-
best
they didn't even make the
team
playoffs.
He ain't
in the
coming
whole
back.
conference.
No, he ain't coming back. He ain't come back east. No, I mean he's out there.
Right, but I'm just saying he's not gonna. If he's gonna get there, he's never getting there. Not in the
The
West.
two greatest homegrown, to clarify, homegrown, because when the Lakers went there, moved there from Minneapolis,
Right.
in the early '60s, there was really only one that really homegrown was Gail Goodrich. He went to UCLA, so he was a local guy when they got Gail Goodrich. But it was really Magic and Kobe.
But they got,
Magic and
they
Kobe.
got, they
That's
got
what I'm
Kobe
saying.
out of the draft.
No, right. And Magic. But I'm saying,
and Kobe was 18.
Right. And then when I'm saying build up and Magic, those are the two. That's why they're so beloved. They were the homegrown. They brought him in from day one and there. So even Kareem came later on.
In a trade,
And Byron Scott, though he wasn't drafted by it, he actually played at Inglewood High School, right? Less than a mile from where the forum was. He grew up.
Yeah.
So that's why when I say homegrown guys,
Yeah.
Anyhow.
I don't feel bad for him though.
No.
Do you guys?
I don't say
Did you see yesterday where OBJ asked? They asked OBJ if he talked to LeBron.
Yeah.
You see that?
He wanted to stay in his house.
Yeah, he wanted to stay at his house, but then he said,
Odell
"Hey,
Beckham
Tom," he said, "Yeah, he told me you're gonna love it there."
Yeah.
Which he didn't.
Sold
really
him on
elaborate.
it. Sold him on it. Come on. But then Odell Beckham asked him if he could stay in his house, and LeBron said no.
No.
My house is too big for you.
Yeah, that's what he said.
So there you go. Too bad, Akron.
Look, we're here with our buddy Eric Ryan, because Eric, now correct me, I don't want to screw up your title. You're CEO, CAO,
Yeah, I'm the owner, founder,
CEO,
president of JAC.
You're
Management.
everything.
Yeah.
Well,
What's
yeah, I'm the
JAC
owner.
stand for?
It's actually named after my kids.
Okay.
Jordan is my oldest, Ashley is my daughter, and Carson's the youngest.
Okay.
So JAC.
Beautiful.
Management Group, and then JAC Live are the two companies.
So JC Management, which JAC is the promotional company.
JAC Live.
JC Live. JAC,
yes, which
yeah.
used to be Eric Ryan Productions, and
or
then
or like live entertainment. What was the one
Yes.
that? What was the one that was doing something live?
Live Nation.
Live Nation.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah. So JAC Live is the promoting arm of
Yeah,
the company,
yeah.
but it's funny. Like JAC, I actually named it JAC because I thought we were only going to be in business for 4 months. So
Why is that?
Well, so basically, I started. I used to work at Wheatland Tube.
Mm-hmm.
I was a steel mill guy, and I don't want to get into all that. But at the end of the day,
how'd that work out for you?
worked
Worked out good.
pretty
What do you mean
good.
you get it?
Because
Yeah.
it gives
We
you
have
the
42 more
motivation. What you
minutes.
know, what you don't want to do. That's what I tell people.
Right.
Because you know what you don't want
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah.
I tell people it worked out pretty good.
Yeah.
You say, I can't do this shit no more.
Yeah.
I can't do this.
Was it hard to get in there? I mean,
Where?
did people have to pull strings to get you into Wheatland Tube?
Yeah. So, well, no.
You always
not really.
hear that,
I
you know?
was, yeah. No, I was. So, I guess going back to high school, our senior year, me and my wife now, we were high school sweethearts since we were in like 7th grade, and
that's
so she's valedictorian up there giving her speech at our at our commencement.
I'm gonna carry this guy. I gotta carry him.
And me and her are the only ones in the gym that know she's pregnant.
Yeah.
So we basically we said, well, we're gonna wait and tell our families after like the festivities.
Yeah.
And so we did that, and I was planning on going and working during the summertime. I was going to Baldwin Wallace to play hoops. She had a full ride to YSU, and so then this came up and said, okay. So I went and worked part-time all summer, and then said I want to go full-time. We were going to get married. We got married, and I kind of started. I was in the union, kind of worked my way up to management there. I was in the union for 5 years and then went into management. And but it was I'll never forget, like my second day at the mill, they put me in the gal shop, and you had have all these sulfuric acids and all, it stunk like crazy. And I said to myself, I'm getting the hell out of here, and so
On the second day.
But it ended up being 13 and a half years. But what I did is I ended up renting the building in downtown Struthers. and I started with a pool hall. I used to love to play pool.
Right.
My wife and I put up our house at 20. We bought our house at 19, and then we put it up in, like, I was 22, and we started Southbridge Billiards, which was crazy successful right out of the gate. And said, well, you know, we ended up buying the building and then putting the cellar, which the cellar was live music.
Mm-hmm.
It was an old fallout shelter, and that's really how I got into live music. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I started doing kind of local and regional shows and just Friday, Saturday night type thing in the club, and kind of grew it from there.
And you're still working in the factory?
Yeah, all along. And then I put Fat E's, the restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
upstairs with a partner of
With
mine.
Johnny.
Yeah, with Johnny. Johnny and I just partnered on the restaurant, and was having that, and basically started a company called Eric Ryan Productions, which we would do shows outside of the club. Our first show was 3 Doors Down at YSU for their homecoming in 2004 or 5, and so was kind of burning the candle both ends for a lot of years, for 10 plus years. And
Because of a goal, or just because did you want 2 things just to make extra money, or were you thinking eventually I'm going to jump?
eventually I'm going to jump.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the plan all along. And so I'd worked, I was on Midnights, and
Great. That's a great. That's
Yeah,
great. Oh,
Which
that-
is what?
that
11
graveyard.
11
that,
to 7?
11 to 7.
that graveyard.
I was on 11 to 7, and they called a meeting with all the management. And so this was 2000, beginning of 2007. They called us all in, and they said, hey, we're laying 25% of you off in 2 weeks. And
In management?
Yeah, they were laying 25% of the management, which I was in management, and said, hey, we're So I looked around the room, and I remember I was like, and I just got my first flip phone, you know, and I'm like, you know what, you know, these guys have nothing else. I at least have something else, you know, that I think we could make it. So I called my wife on the way home and said, they offered us a severance package, and we were get benefits for a couple months. So at the end of the day, I said, I went into my boss's office and said, hey, I'm taking the buyout. And he's like, well, no, you know, because I was cross-trained. I said, look, I'm going. If you know, one way or the other, I'm going. If he doesn't give him a severance, this just is not what I want to do. I just can't do this anymore. And so we left. And so when I left, I dived into the restaurant and the bar and Eric Ryan Productions and all that other stuff. And we were going to open a Fatty's Eastwood.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Remember where our second restaurant was out in Eastwood Mall. And the day we were opening, I got a phone call, and I didn't know who it was. And I answered the phone, and it was Mayor Jay Williams of Youngstown.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, can we meet, like, as soon as possible? And I'm like, yeah, I never spoke to the guy before in my life. So
Good guy, too.
Yeah,
Real
great
good,
guy.
yeah.
So I go meet with him, and he's like, hey, you know, at the time I had done about 5 or 6 shows. I did Korn, I did Kenny Rogers, I did a couple country shows. I did, a bunch of shows, about 5 or 6 shows at the Chevrolet Center at the time.
Chevy Center, that's
And
right.
he's like, hey, we're getting rid of this management company. Will you come in? This is a long story just to get to why the name. by the way.
It's cool.
But he's like, hey, we're going to get rid of this management company. Will you come in and manage it while we go and do this national search for another company? And I'm like, hey, Mayor, I'm a promoter, you know, like,
You don't need
you know,
to hear nobody else.
I don't, you know, really manage, you know, an arena. I mean, I'm sure we can do it,
Right.
but he's like, oh, we really need you, you know, we'll sign a 4-month agreement, and we're going to go out and find somebody else to come in, because they're losing $1 million a year, and you know, they're going to board the place up and do all this.
Why
other
was
shit.
it run so bad? I mean, why were they losing $1 million? If you're looking back now, what were they doing wrong?
Well, I mean, there was. First of all, they weren't managing it properly. I think number one. Number two, they didn't really know the market. I think they didn't understand what would sell in a market and what not, which isn't easy. That's the hardest part.
But was it a local company or?
No, it was a
Oh, see,
national
that's what
company.
they don't know our demographics.
Right,
They don't know
yeah,
here. I get
right.
it. I get you. That's what I mean.
Okay.
And there had to be a bunch of changes in
Yeah.
place. But anyway, so I said, okay. We'll do it.
And who's we?
Well, me.
Okay,
So-
just want to make sure.
Just we always
But
sounds
I
better
had,
than me though. Really.
I had
Actually
Ken,
got a team.
I had Ken Bigley. You know
Kenny,
Kenny.
yeah, Kenny.
So
of course.
Kenny's my right hand guy. Would be nothing without him. He's
Great.
He's
Great
the rock
guy.
of our company.
Great guy.
He was with me at the Cellar and Eric Ryan Productions, and he was working for me. And so we're like, and another guy who's no longer with us, Brandon Bucar. So I'm like, hey guys, we're gonna go run this arena for a couple months. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I didn't want to use the name Eric Ryan Productions because we weren't going to be promoting shows. We were going to be managing this arena.
Yeah.
So I was trying to think of a name, and a lot of management companies have initials, SMG,
Right.
AEG.
Right.
You know, if you look, I don't know why they do, but so someone's like, name it after your kids, JAC, and that's how we came up with the name. I know it was a long story to get there,
cool
but,
story.
but that's how we came up with JAC. I mean, and I love my kids. I probably wouldn't name it JAC just because, I could have thought of something a little bit more creative to name the company.
that's pretty
but it's
cool.
cool. You know,
That's
it
a
has
cool
some
name.
story
Yeah.
behind
Yeah.
it. So,
And one of the kids works there now.
yeah, Jordan's working with us, and so it's cool. But we have, at the end of the day, we're proud of So we got in there. What happened though is we get in there, and this is the truth. So the first day, so that was like happened the week before. So I call my lawyer. I'm like, hey, I gotta get this LLC set up. So what a lot of people don't understand is like everybody there works for us. So it's the city. The city owns it, and we go in and we manage city funds at the end of the day. That's what the management company does.
So you got to pay the ushers. You got to pay like all that stuff.
And everybody, because cities and municipalities don't want those people to be their employees. They don't want them eligible for PERS. They don't want all that shit. So they're our employees. So we go in there and we run it from top to bottom. We manage the place from top to bottom, but basically it's city money. Other than the management money that we make and the incentive money we make, the rest of the money is city money.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
So 4 months go by.
Yeah. So but we get in there, and the very first day we have this meeting, and we meet with everybody, and they're all in shock. They think they all lost their job, which so we retained the employees that were there. We're like, hey, we have me and Kenny, We're like, hey, you guys will stay, and this is your new company. It's going to be called JAC Management Group, and you'll still get your paycheck next Friday. Have a nice life, So we go, and I go to my office, and kind of get situated, and Kenny goes to his office, and Brandon goes to his office, and we all had offices, and we get there, and about 10 minutes goes by, and I'm fucking looking around. I'm looking around, and I feel like I didn't even swear. I'm looking around, and I'm like, phone ain't ringing. I have an email set up. There's no email in there. So I wait about another 10 minutes, and I called Kenny, and I said, Kenny, this phone works? He's like, no, I don't. So I figure out how to do this little conference thing. I've hit conference, and I called Brandon. Brandon's like, what's up? And I said, nothing, what's up? Kenny's like, what's up? He's like, nothing, what's up? And I go, the fuck do we do now? We had no idea. You know what I mean? We honestly had no idea what to do. And so just started making calls and started calling. The second call I got, the second day we were there, we found out that the hockey team was leaving, who was the
Steelhounds.
So they're losing $1 million a year. The hockey team's leaving.
Why did they? What was the reason?
Well, they
just couldn't make it work.
Yeah, there was a lot of. I mean, they really had a bad deal. The deal was kind of through the other management company. Mm-hmm. They had a rough deal. There's a million reasons why that didn't work. And then like 2 weeks later, GM tells us that they're pulling out of the naming rights, which was $150 a year. I'm like, oh yeah, this is great. So
things are going great.
Yeah, this is fantastic. But I tell people it took about 2 to 3 weeks, and like, man, we can do this. We can make a difference, you know, and it's, you know, it's really about fostering relationships in the community.
That's exactly it is. Absolutely.
And you know, we have a lot of suite owners, and you know, we do about 1.2 million a year just between our COI, which is our contractually obligated income, which is all of our sponsors and our suite owners. And without them, the doors are shut.
Right.
You know, you have to have that in this industry.
And it makes sense. You got to have local people because everyone benefits from it. You know, their names up there, the local guys, they're going to
Correct.
get the residual effect from it. Because if not, like you just said, it's a community-owned property.
Yeah.
Basically, if
Right.
if the city wants it, it's there. It ain't like it's L.A. Well, if it shuts down, well, they got everything else. No.
Right.
This is it.
Right.
This is the main feeder of our
Right.
economy. No.
Right. Yeah, it is. And so then, you know, we started to turn it around, and it took them a little bit longer to do it. And we're like 4 months in, and we were turning our financials into the city, and they're like, I mean, you could see
Eye-popping.
Yeah, we pumped the brakes and started doing things the right way. And so they went through this process, and everybody, this dog and pony show, and about 6 companies came in, and we threw our name in the hat and said, we want to stay. And so, you know, luckily the mayor, you know, saw what we were doing, and city council agreed, and they voted us to stay, and that was 10 years ago.
Is it like a 1-year deal every year? Or
No, we're on a 5-year agreement now.
Okay.
But what happened, that was 2007. 2008, we were there in the interim. And then 2009, we took over officially. And that's where we had the $1 million turnaround. So in the course of that 18 months, we took it from losing, you know, $400,000 or $500,000 a year operationally. They had a payment on the building of about $600,000-$700,000. So they're paying it, and they're paying to operate. They were paying for the building. They had $12 million in debt, so it was about $600,000-$700,000 a year, and they were paying $500,000 a year just to operate, just to open the doors and to pay the company to run it. And in 2009, we eliminated that deficit, and we made $200,000 operationally. And we had put an emissions tax on to give the city another $300,000. So we went from, we give them $500,000-$600,000 a year, and so there was enough to pay the debt service on the building, and actually, and that's kind of that was the beginning of it. So we've been able to roll ever since.
What's what they say, that you brought them out of the red into the black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good feeling that day?
Oh man, yeah,
Oh, man,
yeah. You know, we're really proud of what we've done.
As you should be.
And
As you should
it's
be.
definitely a team approach, because it's a lot of things that go into doing that. And you know, first and foremost, the shows that we do, and the support we get from the community. You know, all the time I would talk to people like the first time we booked Elton John. You know, you wouldn't believe the conversation I had. People said, "Ain't no way. There's no way you're going to sell 6,000 tickets at an average of $139 a piece. It just isn't going to happen." And I'm like, "Trust me."
It's still one of the coolest things I've ever done in this town is go see Elton John at the Covelli Center.
No,
Seriously.
Look,
Who gets to do that? And you're sitting like
right
that far from Elton John.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Eric. The company, the original company, that built this, because I was still in L.A. and I went to see towards the fight. I did commentary for fight up in San Jose where the Sharks play. It was a mid-sized arena, same thing. Wow, man, this looks like the Covelli Centre. You know, at that time, whatever, the Chevy Center. And then there's a couple other places, and then they said it's the same company who made the Covelli Centre. Now, they made these mini arenas, like 6,000 seat arenas, around the country for places like San Jose.
Yeah, there's one in
Youngstown.
Texas. We went down to Texas.
And I said, wow, that's cool. And I thought, great concept. Because a lot of these musicians don't want to play the big stadiums. They want intimate settings, which the Covelli provides.
Right.
And when you could do, like you say, the number has to be a little higher. But why not? It's an entertainment you're not going to see. You're not going to get it. You're not going to go to New York, Madison Square Garden.
There's no way
to see Elton John and get that same type of feeling.
Right.
So I think great. You could, if people want to see it,
yeah.
they'll pay.
The company was Global Entertainment. I think they built about 7 or 8 kind of like venues throughout the country.
Like I said, I never forgot. I said, this is a great concept. The mid-sized arenas.
Right.
Guys who don't want to go to the big 30, 40, 50,000 stadiums, but got to be bigger than the 15, 2,000 seat arena, a theater.
Right. Yeah. But, a lot of times, too, is that they have to, again, though, they don't want to play those places, but they still want a lot of money.
Oh yeah, no,
You know
no,
what
that
I mean?
don't change.
And
Their
that's, that, this industry is very risky. People have no idea. You know a little bit about the risk that we
But that's
take
a little
every
risk,
day.
little reward.
Yeah.
Big risk, big reward. That's why you take the shot.
Yeah.
Why are we doing it?
Why? Tell me, was your first big band like Three Doors Down back in the day?
Yes.
How did you even know who to call? Tell me how that went, and if they even listened to what you were saying.
Yeah, so I was doing shows at the club level, and growing a little bit. I think I had done maybe a show at Stambaugh and Auditorium and some theater shows. So it's a very small industry, and basically there's agencies that I deal with. You have the artist and you have his manager, and then you have the agency, and then you have the promoters. Right. So as a promoter, I basically talk to the agency most of the time, and kind of had this idea, and we're gonna do it at Covelli Centre.
But they don't know
Three
what
Doors
that is.
Down. Yeah, they don't know, and so basically had to sell them on it, and had to pay them a lot of money to come. And it was I mean, literally. At the time when I did not have the money to do it, I really had no business doing it. And the reason I still don't know to this day, kind of, I talk to the agent every now and again, like, why did you give me the chance to do that? And we do it. But I guess rewind a little bit. I had done a couple shows at the Struthers Fieldhouse, which I'm a Struthers guy, most people know. And
my favorite place. My favorite place for any type of
especially for pierogies and halushki.
Oh, yeah,
but
and the Umpton.
That's right, and the Umpton.
Right.
But but I had done a couple shows at the Struthers Fieldhouse. It's like you fought the Struthers Fieldhouse, didn't you?
Yeah, man, my
First fight,
debut,
right?
My pro debut,
Yeah.
all my amateur fights. Like I said, for me, the best spot for any type of event, whether it's a boxing event,
Circus.
circus,
They had a circus in there?
or a concert.
Yeah.
The best.
Yeah, it was awesome. So I did it was called the Snow Court Tour. It was like Shine Down and Saliva. We just had Shine Down at the arena, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I forget who else was on it, but sold it out, like, 3,500. We sold tickets out of the cellar. Like, people come down and bought tickets and really had no business doing a show there. But and so you kind of, that's really, I convinced, that was the first one we really convinced people.
And that's what you have to do. You have to you have to convince them, con them into coming.
Well, and the thing is too is like what amazes me is everybody's got to have thick skin, and you got to be able to take criticism. The only criticism that bothers me, somebody will say to me, well, you don't do this kind of show, and why don't you do this kind of genre? I'm like, well, do you think I make all the decisions? Like, we get 10% of the shows we bid. Everyone's like, hey, I was at dinner 2 weeks ago. Somebody comes up and is like, hey, the Rolling Stones. I don't understand why you didn't do. I'm like, oh my God.
You don't even bother calling them, right?
Oh, I mean, they're 3 million plus.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
But
I just want to
do
make
the math.
sure.
Or
That's what I'm
sure.
saying.
Or
Yeah,
or you got to wait till Bruce Springsteen wants to do an intimate acoustic tour.
I mean,
and
you've been
he's
trying
doing-
for him, haven't you?
If he does an acoustic tour, I mean, like he did Stand By
Right.
the Time
Yeah.
when he did, the Tom Joad album.
Right.
Bring
How many times have you tried for Springsteen?
Oh, a million. But actually, I give his manager. He has a manager, and I give him credit. He responds to me every time.
John.
Yeah, responds to me every time. But he's just like, hey, we know about Youngstown, but
We have a song called Youngstown.
Yeah, but just he could play anywhere. He's doing this, Broadway.
Well, we did
stuff,
this. This was on Broadway. As I said, it's
He could
just
play
I watched
anywhere
it.
and kill it. When he goes to, and the problem is like even our stadium show, our Y Live show, like we're only 20,000 seats. Like, I love it. I'm so proud of it. We're all proud of that event last year that did 20,000 people for Florida Georgia Line, but we're only 20,000 seats. Cleveland and Pittsburgh Sheds are both 20,000 seats, and they know the people from Youngstown are going to travel to go see Bruce. So it's tough to convince them.
Correct. Back in the day, and I mean, a little before your time, before mine too. But I remember. Look, the bands that were gigging in Cleveland, that were going to Pittsburgh, would stop in Youngstown because it's the halfway point, obviously. So people don't remember that when we got the Bob Seger system for the Silver Bullet Band, it was the Bob Seger system. He played at the Apartment. down there on
Yeah.
Midlothian. There was because I had couple blocks from there. I grew up there on the south side. The apartment, it's right there on the corner of Midlothian and Zedeker. That's that little strip mall. Now it's some type of it's a bar.
Right. Yeah.
But it used to be called the Apartment. All the group, the Human Beings played there, Glass Harp,
Wow.
and then of course later on Left End. But Bob Seger System, Jimi Hendrix came there.
Yeah.
During time. So these are all the groups that were coming through on the way from Pittsburgh to Cleveland,
Right.
or vice versa. They stop in Youngstown. So now it's always had a great reputation. So now I don't know if you can do that so much anymore.
Yeah, but that's changed.
Yeah, I'm sure it has. That's what I'm
That's
saying.
changed with media now and social media and the level that we play at. Like that does not help us.
No.
Being in between two major markets. I mean, I think Pittsburgh's 29, Cleveland's 33. You know, of the top 35 markets in the country or whatever.
So it doesn't help anymore.
It does not help. No, they block us.
Well,
They are not nice to us.
Well,
You know what I mean?
how'd you land Elton John then? People said you couldn't do it, right?
Yeah. So Elton John's kind of a little funny story.
Is that
So-
still the biggest show we've had in your mind?
Well, I think
Maybe
think
not
the
the most
Kelly
people.
Pavlik fight was probably. I don't think anything will ever beat the beer, and Elton John was huge, but people forget about Kelly's fight. Kelly's fight was a monster.
Uh-huh.
Was a monster for us. People came at 5:30 and were there like ready to go, and he didn't fight until 11:30,
Right.
and it was and plus. We were able to sell more tickets to that because all you had was the ring, and you had,
You get close.
so that was big. Elton was certainly, I think, from a concert standpoint, it's between those two. But yeah, Elton changed our game, a little bit.
well, perception. You're a major
yeah.
player now.
Yeah.
Not,
You-
not
you
just
Do
know,
other
before.
bands know that he came,
Yeah.
or are you saying that it changed it
so
for you guys?
basically, part of the thing is that I was in L.A. and we had got the full-time contract, and we were kind of starting to do some shows, and somebody tells me that Elton's manager was at the end of the bar, and we're at this conference, everybody's liquored up, and I'm like, send him a beer on Youngstown, Ohio. And so they go down there, and the guy's next to me, do you know who that is? You're right. I'm like, yeah, send him a beer. So, he listen, yeah, thanks. And I said, guarantee sellout. $139 a ticket, every ticket in the house, guarantee sellout. So some jackass in between us kind of looks at his phone and like starts reading off all the data on Youngstown. You know what I mean? Like Wikipedia's
thanks.
like poverty level 50, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whatever, dude. I'm telling you right now. So, we kind of had some back and forth, these thanks. And so I sent him email for like the next year and was like, hey, I'm telling you, would be the biggest thing ever happened to Youngstown. And so I sent him this email. It's like late March, freaking snowing outside, cold. It's on a Friday. I leave the office maybe about 7:30, and I look at my phone like at 8 o'clock, and he responds. He's like, check May 5th. I'm like,
Yeah. yeah. Cinco
so
de Mayo,
I'm,
yes,
I'm,
of course.
scrambling around to see if May 5th was available. Yep, boom. Monday, we confirmed it, announced it. It went on sale, sold out in 3.5 minutes. The demand, which people don't understand, like there's 6,000 seats. There was actually 7,000. There was 6,900.
They were putting folding chairs in the
yeah,
aisles.
so we had all the way around. So there's a seat's a seat, right? I mean, your ass is sitting in that seat, right? I mean, I can't create, 30,000 seats. I can only have 6,900. And so the demand when we went up at 10 a.m. was like 28,000 inquiries, which means if everybody that inquired got a ticket, we could have sold it out 5 times.
Right.
You know? And then, people were, oh, it's fixed. It's this. I'm like, it's like, no, like you won the lottery. If you were one of the ones that happened to get through the system at just the right time when as many tickets as you wanted, so that was it. And I think that really changed the game for us nationally, because then we could say, hey, we had this gross,
yeah, we proved it.
Well, that'll do it. Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah.
And still nothing will beat the I mean, well, the Kelly's gross was the gross ticket sales were like 1.1 million or 1.2. I mean, you know what I mean? Because they had $500.
Yes.
Yeah.
How made you
And
pack
I
in
think
for that one?
Elton probably would have beat it, but at the time, Ticketmaster Platinum wasn't there. All the VIP packages that they do now with all these concerts wasn't there, and it was just where a lot of the hay is being made, you know, in the concert industry.
Well, you know, it's like you said earlier about agents and stuff. Everyone says agent. I said, let me tell you something. It's like actors. Actors want to act. You know, if you got the money and you make what we call play offer, you'll get actors you never thought you can get for play.
Right.
Same thing with there. If you're ready to make that offer, and we could do this, and
Right.
well, yeah. You get anybody. You get musicians you never thought you can get, or acts that you get.
Right.
But you got to take the shot.
Right.
You got to be.
Well, and that's true. It's, you know, because I'll say that sometimes. I'll say, hey, you know, we need artists that want to play. You know, to play in a tertiary market, which we basically are. We're maybe a secondary, but we're, you know, in the industry, most people call us a tertiary market.
Well, what does that mean exactly?
Tertiary would be a third
tier.
market.
Okay, I got you.
No offense, but
no, we should be proud
It
of
is
that.
what it is.
But I mean, we're the. But if I tell people, if we're a tertiary market, we're the best damn tertiary market in the country.
Yeah.
From a concert standpoint, there's no question. The shows that we get and the shows that sell and the amount of I mean, this community is amazing in the sense that if it's good entertainment, they'll pay for it.
They'll pay for it.
I don't give a shit. You can look at anything you want.
Absolutely
They
right.
will pay for it. And the heavy lifters do a lot of the heavy lifting. You know, I mean, I think we know that in the industry, but I mean, I think we know that in this community, but I think that, you know, and by meaning, you know, if we put a show on, say, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, my world is based upon a break-even scenario, you know. I mean, I just made an offer, you know, well, actually, you know, I made an offer yesterday that was crazy. So so basically the artist says, we want so much amount of money. And you have to remember, so JAC Management Group is managing city funds.
Right.
So we can't take any risk with that money.
Right.
I can't sit there and say, well, I think Lionel Richie's a great show, and I'm going to pay Lionel Richie X, and say that amount of money, I'm just throwing it out there, you know, the expenses are $300,000, and all of a sudden, you know, maybe I don't sell the way that we thought they were going to sell. Maybe
Maybe it's the first night of high school football or something dumb like
something
that.
happens, and then all of a sudden, we do $250,000 in revenue. There's a $50,000 loss there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, JAC Management Group can't lose that money because that's basically city money. You follow me? I mean, we manage city funds, so I can't take the risk with that. So every event we do, there's a promoter. There's a promoter involved. It's not always JAC Live. I mean, last year at the arena, I think we did 6 of the 100 shows there. You know, we used to do a lot more. And that's one of the reasons why we had success, because basically when we took over, we said, here's what we're going to do. And this is not unusual. Like people go, oh, it's a conflict of interest. No, SMG does it, AEG does it, Live Nation does it, everybody does it. You have to promote shows in your own venue, because if you don't. But basically what happened at first is that we went out and said, okay, if you're not going to promote the show, we will. We're going to do it on our own. But at the end of the day, JAC Live, when it's a JAC show, we take the risk on the show. So we're the ones that have to make up that loss, and there's a profit sharing scenario. So that's basically the way it works. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of risk involved because somebody has to take that risk, and the artist is guaranteed a certain amount of money. Period.
This is right.
Right. Guaranteed. And so the reason why we're not doing Justin Timberlake, or we're not doing, Kenny Chesney, or we're not doing Garth Brooks, is because we don't have enough seats to generate enough money to make them a guarantee. Right. It's just, it's just simple
dollars
math.
and cents. That's all.
Yeah,
it's a poor gamble. It'd be a poor gamble.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to.
Well, yeah. I mean, you just.
It's not your money.
Plus,
you're
they
gambling
wouldn't. The artists that are that are at the AA level, they're making so much, everywhere they play, but they wouldn't want you to have a show that had all $300 tickets, because they don't. I mean, that's not reaching out to their
Core
fans.
audience. No, right.
But what I was saying is that what's interesting about Youngstown is that I think we can get that price level 1 ticket. We can get a pretty premium price. For Lionel, the tickets are $129.50 for price level 1. Now there might only be 1,000 of the seats or 800 of the seats, but that's the math we pay. And so fortunately, there's a lot of people that say, hey, we want the best seat in the house, and we're willing to pay a premium for that. And then that allows your price level 4 ticket to go from 75 to maybe 59. Because at the end of the day, we're talking about expendable money. I mean, people have to be able to afford to come or find value in that. So that's basically that. That's what I do in a nutshell. I mean, my day is most of the time spent on shows that we don't get, and at the end of the day, so we put all this together, we send them the offer, and then if they're interested, they're like, okay, well, tell us how shows have done, and then that's where, to your point, we can use we've done Elton John, we've done
Pitbull.
Kid Rock,
Yeah.
we've done so many of these shows, and
Here's the
and
numbers.
here's the numbers.
It's because the
Now-
numbers came. That's the basic.
Now, if you don't have success, the manager, when it goes up to the manager's saying, we're not going to play there. I mean, show me shows that have done well. Because here's what happens. If the artist comes and plays in front of a half-empty house, he isn't off that goddamn stage. He's calling his manager and go, what the fuck did you do to me? I mean, what I mean, I'm playing in front of empty seats. And then the agent calls, and then the agent's calling me.
And it's a small
Has
business.
that happened?
Oh, hell yes.
Like who?
I can't tell you who, but because you could look it up.
No, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
But
sometimes you get a half
Well, I mean,
house.
the dressing room ain't right, or this. Now, I will tell you that's only happened once and will never happen again. And I think that's a lot of a reason for our success. People know they're going to come to Youngstown. It's like, people think, there's some people out there that say, oh, well, so-and-so should manage this or do that. I'm like, I'll put JAC's reputation up against anybody. These people are on tour. They're traveling the world. They're moving every day. And when they get to Youngstown, they know it's going to be right. Everything they ask for, production, back of house, dressing rooms, catering, the sound, the way that we treat our customer, all the things we do, like, we're representing them for the day. And so that's the attitude we take. And I think that's a lot of the reason for our success, and a reason why we're able to convince, a lot of these artists that otherwise would skip a tertiary market, Because I say shove it up your ass tertiary, We're a second. I know we're not a first tier market,
Right.
but we have the other thing is, and you guys were in media for a long time. I know I'm talking a lot, and I'll shut up. But
No, it's okay.
but
if you weren't saying anything interesting, I'd shut you up.
Yeah.
You're interesting.
But we have a lot of media support. Like there's good that when we have good news to promote, we have 3 major TV stations that
They'll put you
talk
right
about
on.
it. They'll put it right on.
Yeah, and
It's
put
the
you
thing
right
about
on.
That doesn't
if they
happen
want
everywhere.
To. No.
It does not happen
No.
everywhere, and we do not take that for granted.
The great thing about Youngstown is it's a town that it's going to build up the local people. They want that. And it's a one-horse town because we got one newspaper, right? So, you said the 3 networks. I mean, look, it's great when people are, because what else we got? We got each other. That's all we got.
Right.
So, I mean, it's very good. When they're behind you, it's
awesome.
the best. It's the best.
You hear the stories. This artist likes M&Ms, but you have to pull out the green ones. Or does that shit really happen? I mean, are there people that are just really particular, borderline a-holes when they come to town?
Absolutely.
Go on. Give me a particular person.
I obviously would never talk about. I'm not going to give you any names because I'll be out of a job.
All right, just say male or female.
Yeah, we've had lots of those. I could tell you genre, country is normally pretty cool,
Yeah.
and good. And actually rock, man, rock guys.
Like
are
classic rock guys?
Yeah, most of them. Well, not so much classic rock. Some of those can be pain in the asses, but like younger rock, like Shine Down we just did was awesome. I could tell you like the awesome ones. Brad Paisley was awesome. I ended up taking him. I had a little story with him, but I mean, there's a lot of them are cool, but yeah, I mean, they want what they want,
That's right.
and,
So, like,
and
what?
we get some. The old Eminem thing, we would. I mean, like that's just a slap in the face now. You know what I mean? Because that kind of.
Well, you know, most of that was because it was just want to make sure that the contract was being read.
Correct.
That's all. They
That,
wanted you
that
to
kind
read
of
them.
stuff's in the contract.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So in the
Well, yeah. I
contract-
mean, we get a rider, and we have to fulfill that rider.
And you know, like Sammy Hagar was a friend of mine. He said, "Why can't you get Sammy? Now he's doing solo stuff." Sammy's right because he's doing. I know he's going to Cleveland.
We can do Sammy.
Sammy's a friend of mine, and matter of fact, he's doing Cleveland, and I'm going to go.
Yeah.
You know,
Nice. Coming to Hudson.
So,
Tell him.
yeah,
He'd be a great amphitheater show.
yeah, absolutely would be.
Which we got to get to. But give me
Yes.
something. Give me a particular thing that was just so. You don't have to tell the person that is just so outlandish. You're like, are you effing kidding me?
Man, that's tough. I don't know. You know, the one thing that we had, I don't know. That's a tough question.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, no. I mean, there's nothing really. I mean, we've certainly had some issues with certain artists. But
Where they
you know,
treat
nothing-
you poorly? Not you
That's right.
personally, but your group poorly.
Right. I mean, we had an artist last year. It was a younger genre of show, and you know, and they were really big. Actually, yeah, it was and my son, my youngest son Carson, calls me like 3 times in a row, and I'm like. Carson's never called me in his life. This is like Dad's show, like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, like 3:30 in the afternoon, and I'm like, and he says, Dad, he said, so and so the artist, he says, they're in Georgia, they're at the SEC championship game. I'm like, say that again. He goes, my Instagram and my Snapchat is blowing up, Dad. He says they are in Atlanta at the SEC championship game right
For the
now.
football game.
Now it's 3:30. Show starts at 7:30. And so I'm like in the middle of the floor because we were dealing with some seating issues, and I like shut my phone off, and I see like my director of marketing like running, and I see, and everybody's face is like white. They're like, Instagram, everything's blowing up. They're not here, and I'm like, well, there's buses back. So I go find the manager, and I'm like, dude, like, what's going on? Like, everybody's telling me they're at the. Yeah, they're fine. They're fine. They got a jet. They're gonna leave there at like 6:30, and they'll be here by they're going on stage at 8:30. They'll be fine. And so we we're like, what do we do now? Totally killed walk-up sales. It was ugly, and they so. Opening band, we pushed everything back a little bit. We put the opening band gets up there like 7:30. Well, there's a couple artists, and the other one gets up there, and the other one gets up there, and the other one gets up there, and then the poor guy, Chip Banks, he's a DJ. He was like the one leading up to him, and he had to get up there and play for like an hour. Anyways, we're talking to the airport and telling them, hey, where are these guys at? Where are these guys? They don't land until like 10:30.
No way.
They get there. We get them a police escort. We get them there at like 11. By this time, I mean, the crowd is going nuts. They're chanting. I'm thinking it's the end of my life. I mean,
riot.
I am so crazy, stressed out, and they get there and they get out of the car and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna go back in the dressing room for a little bit and get ready."
Oh yeah.
I'm like. I had a few choice words, and I just made it evidently clear that I made it clear that they were in Youngstown, and they had about 3 choices. They were going to get on stage immediately, or things were going to get pretty ugly, and so they did. They ended up getting on stage at 11 o'clock.
Oh.
Basically 2 hours late. So it made for an interesting evening, and. But I mean, we've had a couple of instances like that. That just, and a lot of artists. I mean, most artists are are respectful and they're good. And
The
some
older
of them
ones are
just
pros. They're pros. The
Yeah.
older ones. The younger ones like to push the buttons.
Yeah.
Like you said, you got to explain. Well, here's the way it is. Here's the way you want it to be, but here's the way it is.
Right.
And I've heard numerous
Yeah.
stories, friends of mine in the promoting business that
Yeah. You know, and most of them are good, but some of them, you know, it's not really them. It's their touring people that are, you know, who think they're the world. You know.
The managers can be the jerk offs or the agents the jerk off. I've dealt with them in my business, and I've dealt with them both. And they tell you, here's what my guy gets. And they read off this thing. He gets a gym. You got to get him a gym. Brought to his hotel suite, and he lays out this resume. And I go, okay. Then I said, "You done?" I said, "Okay. Here's what he's gonna get. Here's what he's gonna get. You know, this ain't gonna happen. So that's a jerk off thing to ask me. This ain't gonna happen." I said, "So basically, you're passing on the deal." I go, no. I said, "No, you're passing because everything you ask for, most of the things you ask for, no, ain't gonna happen.
Right.
So it's a jerk off. This is a jerk off conversation. It's a jerk off deal. But I want you to know, I know your client personally. He's a friend of mine. I will let your client know that you just blew it up because of the stupid stuff that you're asking for. So let you deal with it. No. So you got about 15 minutes to make this deal or not.
Right.
Or not. And if you walk, you walk. That's part of the deal. But you don't start flexing with me and saying you want all these things because you know you ain't getting them.
Yeah.
It's a jerk off thing, and you know it, and I know it.
The problem is for me, you know, doing it every day, it's a small industry.
Right.
So you got to be careful
Well,
who
I
you
was just
piss
gonna
off
say,
to.
right.
Now,
That's what
you don't
I'm
have to
saying.
be a doormat. And
Just gonna
that's
say.
crazy. That's ridiculous. But, you know,
Well,
for
you
the
just
most
said,
part.
Eric, the people it is a small industry, and it gets around who's a jerk off and who ain't. What promoters hard to deal with, or what promoters are a good guy to deal with. And this, you know, Youngstown, they take care of you. I know they're good people. You know, look, I always tell people about Bob Arum. People talk about. I said, no, Bob Arum is the best promoter for the last 60-something years. Anyway, Bob will argue, he'll fight you. But he'll give you everything he says he's going to give you. So when the contract's written, the contract is good.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about that. He'll give you everything he says, but he's going to battle you on certain things.
Yeah.
Well, that's understood. Some promoters, you know, I say hey, contracts are made to be broken, and they go, well, no, now we got a problem.
Yeah, we'll get like a bottle of Cristal or a bottle of, you know, some, you know, crazy scotch that's like $1,200. We're like, you're not getting that. Like that's just not happening. Somebody asked for
Boom Boom Bourbon ain't that much, Ed.
No,
Yeah,
you
Tell me get the Boom Boom Bourbon. We have a bottle of that for you on your dressing room
we should
table.
do that.
Bronze
Absolutely.
medal award
We got to
winning.
work a deal after this.
Absolute done deal. That's a done deal.
I do some shows in Kentucky, and the one venue there, they'll give you a bottle of their bourbon, and then they right on the back of the bottle, they have like etched, you know, the name of the venue and the date and whatever. We should start doing that.
I'll do that.
That'd be
My
cool.
pleasure. I'd be honored,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, because we used to do paintings for most of these artists, but they're like, you know, they're like, well, whatever. We don't need that 100th painting. So I started doing these cigar humidors. They're like these guys are going nuts
they
over
look
it.
good,
Everybody
yeah.
is like these little round humidor that's made in actually in Pittsburgh. They're old mortar shells. And anyways, we have sold out Kane Brown, the date, and whatever. So
They
it's
dig
pretty
that?
Cool. They love it. They love it.
Yeah,
That's
of course.
awesome.
Yeah.
Like they get a little swag bag. In
Put some
there.
ice cream out there.
Yeah.
We started because you know Good Humor ice cream is from
Yep.
Youngstown, right?
Yeah.
The
So
Klondike bar and all that.
yeah, so we started doing that because it was easy to do.
Mhm.
Every once in a while, we'll do handles, like just put it out there for those guys to have it, and they love it. You know, everybody loves a little bit of do some Briar Hill pizza.
Yeah, a little taste of the
That's
Youngstown
awesome.
flavor.
Yeah,
All right, tell me about the new. What's the new amphitheater going to be called?
the Youngstown Foundation Amphitheater.
Okay,
Yeah.
and it's outdoors.
It's outdoors.
If you're not from Youngstown, if you're coming
Aha.
over the bridge, if you're coming over the bridge, this is the Covelli Centre is on the right.
Correct.
If you're going into downtown,
Yeah.
but the amp will be on the left,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
if you come to Market Street, it's the opposite.
Right.
Right.
It'll be
Just
on the
depends on which way you're going. I got
Very
it.
quick. Very
But-
quick.
Anyhow,
Yeah. So, but
When's
it's
it-
awesome.
right. Thus, I didn't have that many
Ah,
fights.
yeah.
I
then.
know. Was it hard to
I love that.
get that going? I mean, it seems like such an easy, natural
Have you ever seen
thing.
Taste of Soup?
No.
What was it? Aha.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
ever
taste
see
the
it?
soup. It's from
Yeah.
Coming to America.
Coming to America, the very end.
Uh-huh.
I've seen Tim
when
Arsenio
He's telling the
Hall,
joke.
yeah.
He's
I-
telling the
I-
joke.
yeah, I-
But
I've seen
Arsenio
the
Hall
movie.
and they're like, and he says, man walks into the restaurant. You ever see that?
Yeah.
He says,
He doesn't have a spoon.
He says, yeah, so you blew it.
Right?
No, he goes,
What?
man walks into the, I don't know,
Trying
it's
to
like
help Ray.
Arsenio Hall goes, man walks into the restaurant, orders a soup, and the waiter brings over the soup, and the guy says, hey, waiter, taste the soup. And he says, what's wrong with the soup? The soup too hot, soup cold. He says, taste the soup. He says, what's wrong? Is it too spicy? He says, taste the goddamn soup. And the waiter goes, where's the spoon? He goes, aha.
Yeah. That's the joke.
That's the joke.
Yeah.
Anyway, so whenever somebody says
guess
something
you
like
gotta watch it
amphitheaters
now.
outside,
Duh.
aha.
Right.
But anyways, it's 22 acres and all. A lot of people don't realize this. The amphitheater is going to sit inside an urban park. We'll be announcing we have a great naming rights partner with that. We'll be announcing that within about the next 2 weeks. So the park's going to go all the way from our parking lot. So if you're coming down the bridge, our parking lot, the Covelli Centre, and it'll be a beautiful kind of sprawling park that goes all the way over, really to the Mahoning Avenue Bridge, like on the other side. You know what I mean? So that'll run that way. And the amphitheater is going to be a 4,800 seat amphitheater, which we originally thought we were going to just put up a stage and every once in a while throw orange fencing around. I mean, we built a music center. It's unbelievable.
Beautiful.
People aren't just. I mean, it is laid out stage, a seating area in front that either we can sit people or we can have standing room, then a nice lawn, concessions, the whole nine
You know what the
yards.
beautiful thing about that is, we have such great weather that people are gonna love coming to our this and that.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can't beat it.
That's
man.
right. That's right.
What
It's
is the
best.
For the
the
7
plan?
days.
If Rain's a Blossom, they still play.
gotta-
Yeah. Well, it's rain or
it's
shine. The
part of the deal.
difference is it'll be rain or shine events. I mean, if
Yeah,
it rains,
part of the
if
deal.
How it
it's
goes.
if it's terrible weather, of course.
Is there a hill like Blossom?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, not nearly as
Not like
extreme.
steep, but that's
Yeah,
where you
but-
sit
yeah.
if you're in the lawn.
Right.
I got it. Do you have an opening day?
Rain or shine, folks.
Yeah.
Rain or shine.
Or
Yes.
or dead of night.
Yes. Right.
More
if
rain
it's,
than
you know,
shine.
I mean,
But hey,
if it's we'll have an evacuation thing. and
Sure.
all those
No, I
stuff.
didn't mean like severe weather. I just
Right.
meant, if it rains, we're still playing, right?
We're playing.
hey, when you say rain or
Bring a
shine,
poncho.
Yeah.
do you
Slide
put
down
that
the
on
hill
there?
head first.
But did you put underneath more rain than shine?
Yeah.
No,
we're gonna be lucky.
It's
Knock
good.
on
No,
wood.
we
This
are.
is the
No,
year.
it's
Hey,
great.
he's gotten 2 Y lives in,
No,
That's
it's-
right.
it's-
right?
Look,
Yeah.
with no problems.
And the last one, last year would have been nuts. The day before was crazy.
Right. Because it blew everything away.
Yeah.
So when's the opening day for the AMP?
June 14th, and that's just gonna be a local community free show, and everybody come down. We're gonna have some bands up there. We'll be announcing that here. See exclusive announcement on that. But
That's nice.
and then we'll have a national act on the 15th. So we plan on having about 6 to 8 kind of national acts.
Are you allowed to
with
say?
premium tickets? I am not.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
Yeah. We'll be announcing that within the next week or two. But, it's a community amphitheater, and we're going to do a lot of community events. We have a lot of sponsors that are kind of underwriting some of the things that we're trying to do. Be a lot of free events or inexpensive events, and just kind of get, the whole community down there.
Hey man, that's what you got to make it. What it is, you got to make it a city collaboration.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
everyone gets a taste. Everyone
Right.
Everyone gets a taste downtown, and it makes us real players in
Right.
the game, and it makes us like people. Youngstown, it gives us more to people to talk about
Right.
than the usual suspects.
Oh, look
Right.
around. Look at the cities that are similar to Youngstown.
Yep.
Akron. Do
Right.
they have an arena?
No.
Nope. Do they have an amphitheater? Nope.
It's
Does Canton?
No.
Nope. They have a civic center. That's it. Look at Toledo. Do they have an arena? I don't know.
Well,
what about
Toledo,
Dayton?
no, let me tell you,
they
I've
got a
been-
college.
Toledo, I've been to Toledo. Been spending more time doing more business with them guys.
Yeah.
That's a great city.
Sure.
They're doing a lot of stuff.
Where's
like
that
this.
at?
Toledo.
Toledo,
But
yeah.
they don't
Yeah,
have what
Nice
we
to-
have.
No. Don't
Isn't
no,
that
no, but
crazy?
they're really doing a lot of stuff from downtown. Look, I've said, you know this. Every city, when you want the resurgence of a city, the gentrification of a city starts from the downtown out,
Right.
not from the suburbs in, from the downtown out. And that's what the great thing about Youngstown, was one of the reasons I wanted to come home back. It's the town's on a climb, and I wanted to be part of it. That's it. And part of it's what you guys have done with when it was with the Covelli.
Yeah.
So no, it's great, and that's exactly why. And in most places, you'll see, but it starts from downtown, and what they've done downtown over the last 20 years, is incredible.
Right. We have
Right.
stuff that other places just don't have.
No,
Yeah.
you're right.
So, and sometimes I worry we have a little bit too much now.
Could be.
I mean, for the amount of people that we have in the market, I
Right,
mean, they're
right,
like
right.
people that say there's nothing to do. Like you're out of your mind.
I know.
I mean, you are.
Right,
I mean, like you honestly just don't want to do something because in our community, I think we have an abundance amount of entertainment now.
No, you're absolutely right.
You know, I
any
mean,
part of town, you go to any
You know,
part
I
of
mean,
town.
look at Warren. I mean, Warren does a great job with their amphitheater. You know, I mean that does great on those Saturday night things. Between us, I mean, look how many theaters we have.
Yes.
You know,
And they're rebuilding the other.
And now
that
the
one.
Robbins Theater is being rebuilt in downtown Warren. You know, we're managing Packard Music Hall in Warren.
Great place.
So there's just so much. There's just I think there's sometimes I worry there's a little bit too much.
Well, maybe we should bring. We got to bring boxing on a regular basis back here.
That would be great.
Oh, how about you?
That's
Wow,
what
there
I'm
we go.
saying.
Now you know what I'm now with the thing with the Fox deal with the Fox.
Which
on
congratulations,
FS1.
that's
Oh,
awesome.
thank you. I appreciate that. Well, Fox on FS1 shows. We're looking, for arenas. They, we put told my guy Tom Brown, who's promoter for PBC, put in touch with Eric. And see if we can make it work. If it
works,
can't,
great.
give it a shot. You give it a shot. You know.
That's right.
Yeah.
But we tried to bring it there and see because they're looking for after April. They need venues, and it's one of they're looking. So Youngstown would be a great spot. And I told them so. Yeah, we'll give it a shot.
We'd love to do it. I think we just got to get more consistency.
That's
with it.
what I'm saying. It would be
the problem. You have-
versus like we did Minnesota 2 months ago. I'm going back to Minnesota next week. So Minnesota is a great venue. The Armory in Minnesota. So the old, it was the Minnesota Lakers at the time, right?
Oh,
George
okay.
Mikan.
Minneapolis,
I heard
yeah.
voices
Yeah.
of George Mikan.
Yeah.
But the great thing I found out is, it's an old armory where Joe Louis fought there or did an exhibition there. Ray Robinson fought there. So it has a history to it.
Yeah.
And it's just a great venue. So this is where we did a fight 2 months ago. We're doing a fight again next weekend. So, I mean, look, Youngstown has a great history. Bringing fights here would be natural.
The best,
we'll
right?
See. We'll see.
Does anybody
And
else
it's a
have
per-
history like us? in
No.
boxing?
No.
Not of our size, no.
I don't think so.
So I think the size, it's a size that of the Covelli is perfect for what we're looking for. So I hope we can make a deal. Hopefully.
Do we have an outdoor concert this year? Are we doing a standby stadium concert? A Y Live?
That's the $100 million question.
It's still up in the air.
Still up in the air.
Okay.
Yeah, we're trying.
Does
we
it
just-
depend on getting the act or saying yes, we're going to do it?
Well, there's a lot of moving parts. Number one, YSU has a lot of construction going on,
Okay.
so we need to be cognizant of that. They need to get they're doing the south. Is it the north stands? The other side. They're putting press box and whatever there. They need to get that done before opening day, so we can't really impede on that. They have another project going on where they're putting Cafaro Field in one of the parking lots. So there's a lot of stuff going on there. So we have to work around that, and then we have to find the right artist, which has been a challenge so far this year. We have the opening of the amphitheater too. So we're just we're out there playing the field right now, so to speak, and trying to see. We have to get the right artist. Zach Brown was huge. The first year we did it, and then the second year was last year. Florida Georgia Line obviously sold out. 21,000 people, and it has to be the right artist because
Got to be something like that. It's got to be
If
up there.
it's not, I'll be living under a bridge. I'll be living with maybe you have a spare bedroom.
You can live at the amp.
Yeah, I
It's
can
right
live
at-
at the
yeah,
amp.
It's right there, right on stage. That'd be nice.
good.
So as
Is
much
it surprising to you guys that now we are a country market? I mean, when you think of if you close your eyes and think of Youngstown, you don't think of country music.
No.
However, they sell like crazy, don't they?
Yeah, and I just had this conversation last night. I told somebody, I said, when we took over, I remember that they had done no country, and everyone thinks like I'm this huge country fan. Like I like country, but I like
Rocker,
rock.
man, rock,
I'm a
right?
rock guy. I mean, my
But-
club was thesellerrocks.com. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, like
Give the
the
people what they want.
country. There's a lot of country. Number one, there's a lot of
Well,
new
country
artists
and rock
in country.
that's blurs
Correct.
the line.
Right.
Back in
Yeah.
the day, they
It's
used to
not
call it
country
Southern fried
western
rock.
anymore.
Southern fried rock.
Yeah.
That used to be Allman Brothers, Skinnerd,
Yeah.
James Gang, Marshall Tucker, all those type of groups.
Yeah.
They were called
Right.
Southern fried rock. And when I met Greg Hallman, I told Greg Hallman that. He said, "No, man, we ain't chicken. It's just rock, man. It's just rock." But
yeah,
that's
but
what I'm saying.
it's really has taken on a life of its own from the standpoint of, I mean, we're totally a country market. Why we get country? Because it sells, and because artists and managers and agents want to go to places that sell tickets. It's that simple. And before, when we first took over, they weren't doing country. Now all of a sudden, every promoter in the world wants to do country.
Yeah.
That's just like boxing. If we could build that boxing brand, we'll have boxing matches.
Yeah.
But people have to support it. And if and that's the thing with country. Like every time we do a country show, it sells out. Kane Brown sold out in 6 minutes. The show we did a couple weeks ago, it sold out in 6 minutes. Like went up and
That makes the job easier, doesn't it?
Right. But in fairness to them though, I mean, they did it $30 ticket. I mean, Luke Combs came in back in February with every ticket in the house $29.50. So the artist has to be committed to building his brand,
Right.
or her brand, and so and like if those tickets were $70, it wouldn't have done as well.
No.
But it's
Or
a
as
$30
fast.
ticket,
Right.
right?
It's a team effort.
In Florida Georgia Line, I knew the day we booked it, that it was going to be a home run, but they loved it, and so hopefully we'll do another. But I don't want to just do. I don't want Y Live to just be country. We have two offers out there right now. Both of them are not country. We have 3. We have 1 country and 2 other ones. Hopefully we'll get one of them done.
Right. Okay.
Has there ever been a show that you thought might flop, was fantastic?
Oh yeah. Well, no, I've never booked a show that I thought would flop.
Or you were maybe iffy on it?
Yeah. I've been talked into a few shows throughout the year, throughout my years, from an agent that will call and say, "Hey, we want you to do this show," and I'm like, "Hey, I just don't think it works here. Well, we need you to do it," and so a lot of it's you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours type thing, any other thing, and so. I've certainly had my share of those where it surprised me.
How many people bother you for free tickets? I mean, this is
It's
Youngstown.
unbelievable.
Everybody thinks that they
No.
can go for free to any of. Am I right? Have you
you're right.
paid for anything?
Unbelievable.
ever?
No, I always, yes, I have, because here's the
Yeah,
thing. But here's the
absolutely.
thing. Here's the thing. Always people want free tickets, or ones who can't afford them, and
Oh,
never
yeah.
always boggle
They
my
just
mind
wanna be
why
big
people get
shots.
free stuff.
Just wanna be
like
big
me,
shots.
I could afford a certain dinner, I could sort of get, and they give no Ray, come on in.
How many?
It's
like
unbelievable.
It's got to
And-
happen
and
non-stop.
Well, it does, and that's why a lot of people say, "Well, I don't like that Eric Ryan. Why don't you like me? Like I never did anything to you because you asked me for free tickets and I told you where to bear shits in the woods. Like get out of my face." And then like it amazes me. I'll have restaurant or bar owners ask me when I'm in their establishment
They give you
spending
free
my
drinks,
hard-earned
free-
money.
free
I'm like,
food.
"Well, do you make a living? Like, will you give me this food? Like, how's this work? Like, why is what I do free?" Like I have a lot of risk involved in this, and sometimes now the other thing people don't understand is that we have no comp shows. Like we're not allowed to comp a ticket.
No.
Like
for certain shows.
yeah,
Okay.
I mean, if Rod Stewart's playing the Covelli Centre, he wants every ticket.
That's right.
Like he doesn't care. There's rich people in every town. That's the other thing that amazes me.
Well, you know what?
Every rich person in the world thinks they should have front row.
Right.
Well, there's only 32 front row tickets. And oh yeah, by the way, a lot of them are going to fan club and they're going to the artists and they're going. You know what I mean? And I'm struggling to get Mr. Covelli, who spends $225,000 a year with us, for his naming rights. Like sometimes they like to hook him up, but it's amazing to me. Don't get me started on this
No,
free
no,
ticket.
well, it's funny.
bullshit.
What you
I
say
just wondered.
what
Hot
people
button
say to me.
Unbelievable. Why is what we do free?
Well, no, they'll say, hey,
I don't go to a golf course and golf for free.
that's for sure.
Well, you're
Oh,
welcome.
one of my here's the best when your media person says, "Oh, well, my client was your client, my client." What do you mean your client?
Yeah,
Like what would make me have to give your client a free ticket?
Right.
Like for what?
Right.
Like your client, then they obviously have the money. Tell them to buy, because if they don't pay and don't support it, then it doesn't happen.
Well, here's what. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let's say if it's a big fight, Bob Arum has a fight. Ray, are you thinking of going to fight? Can you get tickets for the fight? I said, can you help me get tickets? I said, I usually don't go to fights. I watch on TV. I go, well, can you help us get tickets? I said, sure. What do you, well, before 5 hours. I said, okay, I'll find out what the number is. Well, wait a minute. You can't get them comped? I go, oh.
right.
I go, I wouldn't get. You don't get free tickets? I said, no, man, because every ticket has to be accounted for.
I'd like
That's
to-
what they're doing. Do you know? Am I right?
I'd like to
Eric?
punch the
Every-
person in the head.
But here's what
or have Ray punch the person in the head who wrote the
Yeah, Ray
word
could do the
comp.
punch.
Every fight,
In the first place.
like
Comp.
big,
Everybody just thinks
no,
like
no.
they miraculously
No,
appear.
Every big fight, I pay for it. You got to, because every ticket's got to be accounted for. Whether Bob Arum or Eric buys the ticket and gives it to you,
Yeah.
then but they're accounted for.
Right.
Every ticket in the joint has to be accounted for
Yeah.
by somebody. Whether you're paying for it, I'm paying for it. But everyone, there's no comp tickets for free. There's no free things. Like every ticket has got to be accounted for. Somebody's paying for it. That's what people don't understand.
Yeah. And so media are the
Jesus.
people who started this, by the way.
That's right.
Which
I never paid for anything.
But most of that is
But you're
there's-
talking about it. You better be.
what most people don't understand, there's a trade to that, right?
That's right.
So in media, if they say, "Well, I'm gonna spend how much money with you in advertising," and they say,
Mm.
"Okay, well then, we'll do 20 comps," but you get the value out of it,
That's
right?
right. That's right.
And so
There's a
that's kind of
trade.
where all this started. But this is fresh on my mind because I had somebody ask me today, and I'm just like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, and the show is struggling. So if you want to see this kind of show is something you want to see, then buy a ticket to it.
Right.
Because if you don't buy tickets to it, then
come
that
back.
particular genre is not going to come.
Not coming back.
Right.
They don't want to play in front of
No.
empty seats. You
Right.
don't want to box in front of empty
No,
seats.
no.
You
But
wanted people watching you.
But you said it best. No, somebody's being paid.
Fired up.
No. It makes sense. That's right. It's it's funny. Like if I'll go to an event, a lot of times they'll say, "Ray, can you come for free?" I said, "Free." I said, "Is so and so getting paid?" Well, yeah, but somebody's making money. Why shouldn't I be making mine?
Yeah.
You can't. If everyone's for
100%.
free,
100%.
everyone's for free. If we're doing it, we're giving it for the kids. It's good for the city of Youngstown, and everyone's working for free. Yeah, absolutely.
in.
But if somebody's, they're saying, well, can you do it? Can you cut your price? Cut my price. My price ain't high. I'm on the low end of the spectrum anyhow, as far as so-called celebrity price. But I know that I'm happy with the price because I don't want to price myself. But you call some of these guys, they outbid themselves because I know you ain't pay it, so they go, oh, that's what he gets. But that's But nobody's cutting. Like I said, are you cutting your price? Nobody's cutting my price.
Right.
Why would I cut my price? This is what I want. You either want it or you
Right.
don't. Pay me or you don't. If not, thank you very much. You get somebody else.
My other favorite thing is people's like, "Hey, I got an idea. We want to do this fundraiser. We want it to be a concert."
Yes.
Oh. Oh. I'm like,
So we want a free
so
concert.
you want me to call Bruce Springsteen and tell him
Yeah.
that he should play for free for the Sisters of the whatever?
Oblique.
That's right.
Oblique
I'm
sisters.
like, do you think there's not one of you or 10,000 of you in every community? Like if you know Bruce, then call him by all means and ask him to do it. And if he says, because that happens, like to your point, sometimes an artist will like their hometown or something they really believe in, and they'll donate their time and do that. But that doesn't happen through somebody like me.
no.
Because when I call, they're like, "How much are you going to pay me?"
That's right.
Right.
That's
Like,
one
this
of
is a business to them.
That's funny you say because like if I would go something, people say, "What do you want?" I said, "You can't pay what I want. Make your offer."
Yeah.
When I have like an appearance, let's say I want $1 million. Well, I said, well, you ain't paying it. So give me what you offer. Make
Yeah.
the offer. It's a stupid thing to ask. What
Yeah.
do you want? You can't pay what I want. Make the offer. And you also know how legitimate and how real they are by people come and say, "Look, Eric, we want, so here's what we're offering. Excellent. Take it. Is that okay with you?"
Yeah.
I say, "Yeah, that's fine." Or I say, "Nah, he's a little shy with that number." That's what they'll do me. And I'll say, "What's your number?" I said, "Well, you're shy with it. Just make another offer."
Right.
And then they'll come back. We're going to make an offer. And I said, "Well, yes or no." That's okay. That's a little better. Or, you know what? Thanks, anyhow. I appreciate it. But I've had people come back and say, here's like, you make an offer. I go, no, it's not. You're a little shy with the number. They go, well, I can get so-and-so for that number. Then I said, then you should.
Yeah, get
Why are
him.
you bothering
There you
me?
go.
Call so-and-so, get him, and God bless you if you can do it.
That's right.
You ain't going to get him for that number. And if you can, then God bless him.
Right.
But you ask a question. It's real simple, man. It's business, man, and people don't want to understand, especially in the entertainment business. Everybody wants something for nothing.
Right.
Everyone wants something
Yeah.
for nothing.
And and we're under contracts with the artist and some of those things that a lot of people don't understand. Like we can't take so many tickets and just sell them to
No.
you. You know what I mean? Like they want those tickets to go to their fans.
Right.
It's that simple.
Right.
They don't want, because you have nice hair and I like you. They don't want me giving you these tickets. I mean,
That always works.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, like there's just a business side of things
right.
that people don't understand.
That's
So
right.
when you ask me for a free ticket,
Please
you better
don't.
goddamn be ready.
Please
Yeah,
don't.
that's
Better
Because
duck.
I'm
Hey,
like,
hey.
there's like I'm so over it.
Very little is free anymore. That sun ain't for free. You're paying for that.
Yeah.
Wherever you live and you get a lot of sun, you're paying for that.
That's right.
That water is not for free. You're paying to see
Yeah.
that view of the water. Anyhow,
All right, let me just
have a-
mention
yeah.
this because we have an agreement here at Avalon with the Covelli Centre.
Right.
now, and JAC, and we bought our season tickets
Okay.
off your son.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, commission.
Yeah.
A little
Hey,
bit of
that's how
commission.
you work. That's how you work.
And so now, when you stay at the Avalon Inn and Resort, if there's a big event coming on, you have a chance to buy tickets to that event. Not discounted tickets or anything like that, but it makes it easier, and we're able to give you the tickets and give you a shuttle ride from here down to the Covelli Center and back. We make part of the big
from the
package.
Avalon.
Right from here.
And do they
Isn't
get
that
that
wonderful?
package? Do they get the package? They get the honeymoon package, whatever
Well,
that is?
you could go for the honeymoon
suite,
package, sure.
honeymoon suite,
But it
whatever.
might be for like Disney on Ice or whatever, and you could do that with your
Oh, that's-
kids and
that's
buy the
beautiful.
tickets through us now that we are
Yeah.
big fans of yours and playing a little partnership, and now we can go.
Yeah, it's be really great. And I think, at the end of the day, what's missing, and I'm sure there's, a lot of national and a lot of local listeners. I think the cool thing is like, if there's an event you want to come to, come stay, come
Right.
stay at the Avalon. It's a
Enjoy.
beautiful, most, absolute gorgeous hotel. Have dinner, take a ride, come down, see a show, come back, make a little staycation out of
That's
it.
right.
You know?
That's exactly
People
right,
don't
man.
do that enough.
No, man. I tell you, this was the only joint. When I was growing up, Avalon was the only joint around.
Yeah.
And it was like a trek from the south side of Youngstown.
Yeah.
I said, man, Jesus, man. From Strutters,
they
even
didn't have
farther from Strutters.
Didn't have a
Two Ds,
connector.
Strutters.
No, yeah, Strutters. St. Ruthers.
But
right.
All right, you want to wrap things up?
yeah, man, Eric, I can't tell
thank
you. I
our
enjoyed
guest?
this. I thoroughly enjoyed it and got educated on it.
Right.
About all this stuff, about
That's
a
what
lot
he
of
does.
things. But no, what you do is tremendous. Ladies and gentlemen, look, man, if you're in the Youngstown area and you want to look up an event, you got on the website, the
Yes.
Covelli Center.
Covelli Center with
JAC.
a TRE on the
Yes,
end. People
yeah.
foul that up all the time, and it drives me crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Century.
And make sure you go to
Century.
the official
Century.
site.
Covelli Century.
Go to Covelli
Or if you're going to
Center.com.
buy tickets, make sure you go to Ticketmaster.com. Do not go to these secondary and scalper
Yeah,
sites
that's right.
that we hate.
But look, if Youngstown's on a climb, and we've got a lot of good talent, a lot of entertaining shows coming in, and our friend Eric's going to bring us the top of the line entertainment. You will be paying for it, though.
That's right.
You will be
Don't
paying.
even
No
ask.
comps. Comp is not in our dictionary. But look,
But you'll be
it's
paying a fair
good,
rate.
Good things. And the amphitheater's opening up this summer. I'm
Yes.
excited about that.
Middle of
man, I'm
June.
excited. So, hey, look. And Youngstown's on the climb. You come in, if you're from out of town, come and visit and stay for a weekend. We got a lot going on here. Here at the Avalon Inn, stay, get the package, the honeymoon package. Sounds good.
He
So-
always tries to sell the honeymoon.
honeymoon
package.
package. I
He's
don't
a
know.
helpless
Hey,
romantic.
Hey,
I tell,
Yeah.
I tell other guys, man, don't be a stiff. Take your girl out, take her for the weekend,
That's what I'm
and,
saying.
and go down to the Covelli, man. Get shuttled down there, and be a sport, man.
That's right.
You look like a star, superstar.
Yeah.
Hey, Eric, can't thank you enough, my brother.
Awesome.
Appreciate it
Thanks
very
for
much. Thank
having
you,
me.
thank you.
Thanks, brother.
It was
And
great. Thank you.
Mike,
It was great.
Mike, everybody here, the team here, and here at Avalon. Here, just want to say, if you enjoyed the show, tell your friends. And join us again next week at this. Well, it'll be a Tuesday. It will be Tuesday again. We might not be live because this is early today. Today was a little early.
For the West Coasters. Yeah.
Yes.
For the rest of us. it's-
Yeah, it's okay. But okay. Until then, take care of each other, love each other. Good night, and God bless.